Oak Creek, surrounded by greenery and tranquility, has always seemed like the embodiment of the American dream. Neat houses with white fences, friendly neighbors, children playing on the lawns, an ideal picture, which, however, hid an ominous shadow. The shadow that tore this idyll apart one night, leaving behind only pain, fear, and an unsolvable mystery. Oak Creek. It all started with the disappearance of Sarah Miller. A young, talented artist, she was the soul of Oak Creek. Her smile lit up any room, and her paintings, full of life and color, decorated the walls of a local gallery. Sarah lived alone in a small cottage on the outskirts of the city, where, according to neighbors, music and laughter were often heard. But on that fateful night, the cottage was plunged into silence. Sarah Miller. The first alarm was raised by her best friend, Emily. Unable to reach Sarah, she went to her house. The door was unlocked. It was a mess inside, but not the kind that happens after a party. It was chaos, as if someone was searching for something with rage. There were overturned chairs on the floor, a broken vase, and an empty frame on the wall where Sarah's favorite painting used to hang. Sarah herself was nowhere to be found. The Oak Creek Police, led by Sheriff Brody, a man with many years of experience but who had never encountered anything like this, launched an investigation. Initial versions ranged from kidnapping for ransom to an accident. But there were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses, no leads. The city, accustomed to silence, suddenly found itself in the epicenter of a crime drama. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The hope of Sarah's safe return was fading with each passing day. Sheriff Brody, exhausted by sleepless nights and dead-end trails, felt the urban calm giving way to paranoia. The neighbors began to look at each other suspiciously, lock the doors, and the playgrounds were empty. During the investigation, new details emerged that only confused the case. It turned out that Sarah had been somewhat withdrawn lately, often talking about the dark sides of art and that sometimes beauty is born out of pain. Her diaries, found in the cottage, were full of mysterious notes hinting at some secret that she was trying to solve. One of the notes read, "He knows. He sees what is hidden from others. And he won't stop until he gets his way." Who is this he? What did he want? These questions remained unanswered. The police questioned everyone who knew Sarah, her colleagues at the gallery, former lovers, even casual acquaintances. Everyone testified, but no one could provide convincing information. Some mentioned a strange man who often visited the gallery and stared at Sarah's paintings, but no one could describe him. Sheriff Brody, however, did not give up. He felt that the key to the solution lay in Sarah herself, in her art, in her last thoughts. He looked through her work over and over again, trying to grasp the hidden meaning, the encrypted message. One day, while studying Sarah's last, unfinished painting of a gloomy forest with a lone figure, the sheriff noticed subtle touches that did not match the overall style. The unfinished painting. Upon closer inspection under a magnifying glass, he discovered tiny, almost invisible symbols woven into the texture of the paint. They were ancient runes that he had once seen in an old book on the history of the local region. The symbols pointed to an abandoned quarry on the outskirts of Oak Creek, a place of grim legend. It was said that strange rituals were once held there, and that the land there was steeped in mystery. Sheriff Brody gathered a small group of officers and went there. The quarry greeted them with ominous silence. Moonlight filtered through the dense crowns of the trees, creating bizarre shadows. In the center of the quarry, among the rubble of stones, they found something that froze the blood in their veins. It was an altar, roughly carved out of stone, and on it was a bloody knife and several items that belonged to Sarah, her favorite scarf, a paintbrush. Quarry. But the most terrifying thing was that next to the altar, in the shadows, they saw a silhouette. Human. He stood motionless like a statue, and it seemed like he was waiting for them. When Sheriff Brody ordered him to surrender, the figure slowly turned around. It was the same strange man that the witnesses had mentioned. His eyes were burning with a crazy fire, and there was a creepy smile on his face. He didn't resist. When he was arrested, he was silent, only occasionally muttering something about returning to the roots and art born out of darkness. He turned out to be a local hermit who was obsessed with ancient cults and believed that Sarah, with her talent, had awakened some kind of ancient force that he considered his own. He kidnapped her, sacrificed her to this force, believing that this would allow him to gain control over her. Sarah was never found. Her body, apparently, was buried somewhere in the depths of the quarry, or perhaps it became part of the very ancient force that the killer was talking about. Oak Creek has always been marked by this tragedy. And although the killer was caught, the shadow over the city did not dissipate. She reminded me that even the darkest secrets can be hidden in the most idyllic places, and sometimes beauty really comes from pain, but this pain can be unbearable. Sarah Miller's story has become a grim warning, a whisper of the truth that reality can be much scarier than the wildest fantasies.